And finally, on the day of your event, the key is to actually have people tweeting. I've been to events where the social up to the event has been amazing and the social after the event has been amazing. But the event's organisers have been far too busy, and there's been great conversations that they've just missed altogether because they've been not too busy, but their focus has been on the event and missed the whole social side of things. So it's really important to have one person in charge of the content on social media on the day. If it's a huge event, you might want 1 or 2 people. But at least if you have one person, they've got it on their phone, they can run around and look at the tweets that are happening. But what they can also do is they can do some little video content. So I could speak to Sally after the event and say, Sally, what's the key thing you thought about the talk we just did? And she could share that video and I could have it up on Twitter in a couple of minutes. It might be that you also do some longer video content. There's lots of useful content that you can put on social media, but it needs to be a bit of a plan. So as an example, after my talk here this afternoon, somebody has already emailed me yesterday and said, Lynsey, can we have 2 minutes of your time after this talk to interview you, to ask you some questions that we can then put on social media? And again, that doesn't need to take a lot of time, but it's just about the pre-planning and already have those questions for the speaker after the event. And from a video point of view, you don't need to be a video expert. You need to use YouTube, and as long as you've got an iPad and you've got a quiet part of the room, you can do video content very easily. Obviously, there is a time and a place for people to be able to have professional content, but I've done video content even talking on stage. I did an association or an in-house event earlier this year, and they said lots of people are being told to use social media and they really want to use video content, but they think they need to be experts. So I said, okay, how about we do some video content within the 20 minutes of my talk? So literally I got a delegate from the floor and said, right, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. And I did it on my iPad and we'd uploaded it and we'd done it within the 20 minutes of my talk. So you don't need to be a video expert, because I am certainly not one, but it's just about pre-planning that content. Finally, the most useful thing, which is what I asked at the beginning, is measurement. If you're not measuring on digital or social media, you don't know what's working and what isn't. If you are not using Google Analytics, Google Analytics should be your best friend. Google Analytics allows you not to just measure the traffic on your website, but if you set it up and set it up correctly, you should be measuring not only how many people visit your website or your events page via Twitter, excuse me, but also where your bookings come from. So you should be able to measure from a tweet what booking you got from that, or the type of engagement you got. If you're not doing that, then how can you measure your return from investment? So Google Analytics is your best friend. Set up Google goals for measuring, and also use Google URL Builder for any key tweets or messages you're sending out. Because if you say, Lynsey, we measure on Twitter and we're getting hundreds of visitors a day, but how do I know what tweet is successful? Use the Google URL Builder, because it will tell you exactly what tweet is getting you the traffic and what tweet exactly is getting you the bookings. So by having a bit of a plan on digital, you can raise awareness, you can create conversation, but also you can then use that to emphasize that conversation and build it and maximize your resource, whether you have 1 member of staff in your association or 101. It's just about planning things and getting that strategy in place.